And welcome everyone to ICA TV today. We are in the house, literally, because it's blowing a flipping hoolie out here. Benefits of HQ in Wales, always good in ICA land. But we have just lucky enough to get this lovely lady. She's a busy girl and she's helping many of us get our books out of us and get those thoughts down on paper. I've got my pencil ready. Down on paper and create that thing that we've always wanted and be a published writer. Oh my God. So Carol Ann, welcome, my darling.
Thank you. I'm really glad, pleased to be here. It's windy here as well. Like this out my window.
Did they say it was May? It's nearly June. What's happening to the world? But welcome, darling. And we're just going to go through a little bit of your story and how and why and when and what happened and how you got to your title. I've written it down so I don't get it wrong. The Writing Facilitator. How did that happen? That's a big question, I know. Where did you get the name?
The name, it came really because I'm not a coach. I'm not a mentor. And I realized what I do is I facilitate. And even, within the change and sort of becoming a facilitator, I realized that that's what I do. I facilitate people's journey through it started moving them through stuckness, but then it sort of morphed into helping them with their writing and moving them through writer's block, because that's where it all, again,
that blank page thing.
Yeah, what do I write? I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I did. About 5 years ago, I ran a meetup group called Moving Writers Through Writer's Block. The meetup group's still there on Meetup, but I haven't done much more with it. But
things move on, don't they? Things do move on for us.
So it then changed. As I said, I'm not a coach, I'm not a mentor. What do I do? And it's like, I'm a facilitator, and then that's where the Writing Facilitator.
So write this down, like that term, moving writers through writer's block. Nice. So I know, because we had a little chat, that actually you trained and you taught as a maths teacher. Yes. And now you're doing Word.
Exactly. And actually, to be honest, maths was my subject. I love maths. I still do. I trained as an infant teacher, and maths was my main subject that I did. And when I trained, and then I wasn't able to get a job as a teacher, I got a job somewhere else, and they gave me day release to get my degree in maths, which was just a thrill to do as well, which I enjoyed. And then life took sort of twists and turns along the way, and I found myself doing supply teaching in a secondary school. And then I got a job as a maths teacher, and I loved it. I just loved it. I never ever thought I'd leave, to be honest.
It's interesting, isn't it, where our paths go, and if we ever put down the fact that we were decided to do this and then we ended up doing that as a whole career, things have changed in the world from that. And I'm quite pleased, because we sort of reinvent ourselves throughout I'm going to say decades, probably every 10 years or so, something else sort of exciting comes along, and and that wasn't like it for a lot of people. A lot of people got a job and stayed at a job. It's just exciting times, lots of opportunities out there. So we had a little chat about changing from that maths teacher to Word, writing things down, and your daughter had a lot to do with that.
She did.
Tell us about her story, a little bit of her story, and that sort of links directly into yours.
She struggled accessing learning, and she was in year 11, so 15 going on 16, and she was supposed to be sitting her exams, and she was just going, I don't want to sit them. I can't do that. I'm going to fail every single one. She was angry. She was belligerent. She was not the little girl that I knew, but I also knew she wasn't stupid, you know.
Yep.
And I actually, at one point, I think the year before, I'd actually managed to get the ed psych to see her. And all he said was, all she got to do is just keep asking for help. And I was like, I'm sorry, but that didn't help at all. That just didn't help.
Excuse me, don't get it. Excuse me,
No.
don't get it. Excuse
Yeah.
me, don't get it. How's that going to help?
Yeah. So I discovered a brain gym. It was just through a conversation with somebody else who knew about brain gym. And it just literally, again, synchronicity. I popped into a natural health clinic near in Gloucester where I used to live. And I heard about brain gym and I thought it was just the course, which I couldn't afford. Couldn't really see how it was going to help her. But I went in and I saw something. I saw some leaflets and I said to the receptionist, oh, brain gym, can you have one-to-one consultations? And she said, oh, yes. And here's David Hubbard right now. And literally in that moment, he walked out to get something for a client.
And was he the creator of Brain Gym?
No, he was he'd trained in educational kinesiologist, but he was also not just a consultant, he was an instructor and part of the team of bringing it into, you know, training it in this country, which again, is really fortuitous. And I literally had a 1-minute conversation about what I was observing with my daughter. And he just said, I can help. I went, okay, put me an appointment. And from the January to the May, she let me sit in on all the sessions. And the changes that I saw in her, I was in tears most of the time. Because it's like my little girl came back.
It's a relief, isn't it? You know, you've found something that's going to help.
Exactly, because as a parent who doesn't know what to do, all you know is there's something that isn't working and you just don't know what to do to help them. And you've just got this anger and this belligerence and, you know, she's being disruptive at school. And I know she is outspoken and she'll tell it as it is. And she would tell teachers as it was. You know, you're not doing your job properly.
I think that's pretty sad that we actually call these young people out, because as an adult, we want people to be able to get their message over, to be able to be articulate in their words. Hopefully that came out articulately. We want people to stand up for their rights, because that's important. And I think the thing that we need to be supporting the young people with is how to get their message over without being rude, without, I'm going to say, pissing people off, you know, because that doesn't get us anywhere, you know. And I've been there, done that with my young people, you know, is the fact that I wanted them to like your daughter, say, actually, that's not right. I don't understand that bit. Yeah, that's not what you should be doing. And they get into trouble, don't they?
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
But what was interesting was that very first session that I had with him, I'd said what the ed psych had said. And he did what he did with my daughter, which I didn't understand at the time, but I now do, you know, having trained in that field now, I understand what he did. But he actually looked at her sort of her profile and how she was taking information in, processing it, and then, you know, what was happening for her. And literally he said, well, this is what's happening. You don't understand what's been said to you and you can't remember. And she went, yeah. And all of a sudden you could feel that relief. Somebody understood. Oh. So he said, no amount of asking is going to help you, is it? And she went, no.
I remember a very clear, you know, very similar to that. My bless my mum, I lost my mum in January. But I remember, and there was a piece of equipment in our home, and it was the dictionary.
Oh,
yeah, piece of equipment in our home, and a lot of people out there know I'm dyslexic, and so I was actually, you know, doing whatever homework I probably was trying not to do because I didn't get it. And it's like, Mum, how do you spell whatever? And she said, well, what does it start with? And it was like, I don't know. She said, get the dictionary. What does it start with? I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. And it's like, well, you're not silly, Teresa. You know. And it was like that. And this was 50 years ago. We say that really quietly. And that was the understanding, actually, you know, obviously you know what it bloody well starts with. And unfortunately we had to clear Mum's house out a couple of months ago, and then this dictionary, pride of place, and my sister said to me, would you like it? I went, no. You know, I'd like to burn it page by page and cheer as I do it, because that was the understanding. Like you said, your daughter, you can ask and ask and ask, but if somebody doesn't come back with the answer that you can understand, and it isn't that you're silly, or whatever other horrid word that people call people when they don't get it. And I believe it's the teaching. It's that how to share information, like you're a facilitator, how to share that information so people understand what they need to do. And I think that's a huge job.
It's actually it's actually understanding what's going on for the pupil. It's being able to question them, to understand what is there for them and how can you help them best.
Correct.
You know, and it's a two-way, for me, it's a two-way process, and we don't teach learners how to be learners and take responsibility for their learning.
Definitely.
You know, and to be able to say, well, I don't understand, and actually ask questions to get the answers that they need.
Yeah.
You know, and that was something I learned in my training as I went on to this whole personal development journey. But when I eventually sat and did an English language A-level, it was only about 16 years ago now, something I thought I was not capable of doing. It was because I now got these tools to help me. I had got into a place where I thought, oh, maybe I could do this. But I was still every week coming back and having to ask the same questions. But I knew how to ask questions until I got the answer that I wanted and the understanding.
Correct.
I would keep going, but I knew how to ask better questions, you know, because I would be able to hear what she was saying and use her language to then work back and ask the questions. I could get what I, you know, wanted.
I totally understand.
It is a skill.
It is a skill.
So for me, it's teaching learners how to be learners as well.
And also, I think it's also comes with a little bit of maturity, you know.
Yes, yeah.
You know,
but it's something we can teach, you know, children. I mean, I've been teaching my grandchildren, which is what, you know, I'm really blessed to be.
Oh, I'm waiting to be a grandma. I'm waiting.
Oh, yes.
Maybe another 10 years. I don't know.
And it's been amazing, and they've helped me along the journey of learning as well.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I'll say to them, but you word your questions in such a way sorry, that gets the answer.
Cool. Yeah, get it.
And you're not being rude. There are ways of saying it, you know, because oh, I'll be told I'm rude. I said, no, you need to just ask, say I don't understand, and be able to word the question in such a way
so somebody can answer. Yeah, I love it.
So someone can help you by just going, I don't know. That doesn't help, you know. What specifically don't you know? Where are you stuck? And if you don't have the skill of being able to ask those questions, then you can't pull that out of somebody, you know.
Mm-hmm. How do you translate that into your profession now? So your profession is to facilitate somebody to get their exciting book, their story, their whatever, whether it's yours is for I forgot what you call soul-driven entrepreneurs. That's very exciting. I think there's a few people out there who could say, actually, I'm quite soul-driven. You know, to get their get that out of their head and down onto some, well, I'm going to say paper, because I'm a paper girl rather than a
definitely
typing girl.
Yeah.
But how do you do that? What would you do if you met me today? You've met me today, and I've got this exciting book in my head, which I have, because we all have, haven't we? Ladies out there watching.
Yep,
We
everybody
we've
has
all got something.
the story, a book, something that is here inside that wants to be shared with the world.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
would make a difference, not just in other people's lives, but also to your business.
Absolutely. Thank you, my darling.
Yeah,
it is huge, and we do a lot of things within the Dream to Achieve program, which we run, and the Action Club, which we run, about story. You know, getting your story out there. And you might think, oh, that's just me. You know, nobody wants to listen about me.
Yeah,
they do. We love the before and the after. We love the process, and it actually gives you credibility.
Yes,
as a business owner, to get your written thoughts down. So you've met me today. I've said to you,
before we sort of answer that
question, go on then.
I would just like to sort of, I feel it finished and rounded off what I was saying with my daughter, because when
I'm sorry, Donna,
he said, that's okay. It's lovely because I find myself talking about other things and going, well, I'm moving on as well. And I'll go back to this. But when he said that, about it's like, he said, and he actually did a process that helped her to speed up the process. He said, I can't change how you process things, you take things in and that. He said, but I can speed it up so that you hear what's there and your brain works much more quickly so that you get it and you don't lose it.
Oh, I understand why they call it brain gym now. There you go.
Yes. Yeah.
I understand.
And it's absolutely, it just helps that whole processing.
Magic.
And it creates those connections that, and I, for myself, that's what's happened with me, because I was really, words and writing for me were an absolute nightmare. Really slow at finding words. It's as if they went into this void, never to be seen again. Well, now I feel like I've, through educational kinesiology, through other trainings that I've done, NLP, Touch for Health, Random Basic Journey, many other things, and experienced many other things as well. I know I've completely rewired my brain.
Wow.
Because I don't say that anymore. I now have access to words. I can speak more quickly, find words more quickly, whereas before I'm quite slow speaking anyway, and sort of there are pauses. I'm not that quick, like some people are really quick, but I'm much more quicker than I ever used to be, and I can follow people more who speak very quickly now, which I couldn't do before. My brain would just go meltdown. Yep, meltdown.
Not thinking.
No, fused. Yeah.
Cool.
And
excellent.
Something, the listening program was something that helped me with that as well, which is about music that's specially put together that helps tweak the ear muscles, that then again affects the brain and rewires it. And so that's again helped my whole auditory system.
Very
had a complete overhaul, and I'm still working on it. I'm just getting deeper and deeper.
Well, I don't think any of our processes ever stopped, because then I think we just sort of curl up on the sofa and
go.
Yeah.
Brandon Bay says, she says, well, if you're not, exploring, if there's, how did she put it? I love the phrase, because I suddenly thought, no, I want more and more to, things to explore and uncover. She said, because when, if you've got nothing more to learn or do, that's when you're out of this life,
Oh, definitely.
And I thought, yeah, you're either living and growing, or you're dying,
or you're curling up on the sofa.
That's right. So I've just met you today. You have this book.
Oh, I have this book in my head. We've gone on. I have this book in my head.
And
what would you do with me?
I do with you. I talk with you. Have a conversation. See what's there for you. What are you saying to yourself about the writing process, you know? How far have you got with writing it? Is it just a thought? Have you actually got some ideas? Have you written things down? So really see where you're at with it. And that's where I sort of go from, because that's the start point, because everybody's different in their experience.
I suppose some people might actually have a book written.
Yeah. Some have got, you know, the structure already. They know what they want to put in it, what it's going to be about. But they then get stuck as well for various other reasons. Maybe it's just the completion part of it. So I can help with completing, you know, because again, this what I've realized is there's a whole host of things beneath that hold us back in many ways. And I've been diving into, you know, procrastination, writer's block, because for me, they're labels. And even things like dyslexia, it's a label, something deeper that's going on. So that's where I've been diving deeper and looking. And so that's why I have a conversation. I don't work with the label. I ask you, well, how is it for you? How are you experiencing it? What are your words to describe it? And that's, you know, where I work from. But there's that inner child that is very often who's holding you back. The experience you had at school, you know.
As a teacher.
Yes. And I've also unlocked my own experiences of learning to write, you know, so yeah. I'll work with the inner child, because one of the things I've realized is there is a part of you who is still trying to learn to write. And then there's you as the adult who's trying to write so others can learn from you. So there's this tussle. So it's helping you to make that transition so that all those parts of you that are still trying to learn to write at whatever age, you can then become a complete adult who's right. Yes.
Wow.
And that then helps give you that full self-expression. And then also what I've realized is I go back to the basics of writing, which is handwriting. Yeah. People, you know, giving someone a typewriter to a laptop or whatever, it doesn't really help to get to the nitty-gritty of what is their struggle.
I agree.
And handwriting, it also connects you more with your higher self, with your soul, and that again, it helps that flow. So someone coined a phrase for me, beauty, because I talked about free-flowing writing, and someone who's been to one of my workshops, it will be a couple of years ago now when I did some in-person workshops.
Yeah.
And she said, no, she said, it's more soul flow writing, she said, that you get.
Oh.
And so she coined that flow.
I like it, yeah.
It's soul flow.
Within all our groups, we do teachings, as in how to do something. This is true. But our Dream to Achieve is about that soul, where you are, what that exciting is, what is it going to drive you to through all the challenges of running a business. You know, it's not easy. We all know it's a little roller coaster going on.
I'd say it's a bit.
It's when you're at the top, you go, oh shit, I'm gonna come down now, I've got to claw back up again. Yeah, so it's like that as a business owner, ladies. When you're watching, you know, it isn't what we see in the films. It doesn't just go, oh look, it's gonna be amazing and we're at the top. It does this all the time, wherever you are in your business. So don't feel, you know, pressured that you're actually not keep climbing, because we're all doing this. We're all doing this. But to be able to, when we're teachings and we're talking to people, I would love, and I always say, get yourself a book, whatever book it is. You know, I've got quite a few hanging around. Oh, I'll show you. Purple one, for different topics, because that keeps my head in order. But it's that thought to the end of the pencil. You know, I do pencil because I like pencil, but it's the thought, the handwriting, you're connecting, it's your body movement, it's your it's your being rather than a tap, 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 tap.
Yes.
And it's a different thing because you are maneuvering to the letters.
That's
and
right.
it connects your brain.
It connects with your brain in a different way.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
typing.
absolutely.
Yeah. But you're is that movement. But I also, what I've realized is I've gone back to the very beginning of learning handwriting, and I bring that in to the work that I do, because I've realized there's, for me, I believe there's a step that's missed out when we first learn to write, and it's to do with the gross motor skills, which are the like the big arm movements, throwing something, the jumping, the running, because once they're fully integrated, we can then start using the finer motor skills. And I sort of remember observing my grandchildren, you know, when you mix batter and it's a really fine movement from the wrist. Yeah. And most often children are sort of like this, this whole arm movement
it's that
comes
muscle,
in.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's that whole
That's right.
thing. Yeah.
And it hasn't done, it's completely done its job, you know, or learned to sort of go, oh no, I don't need to be involved.
It's actually sectioning it. Very, very literal. Sectioning your body down, isn't it? To go and actually, it isn't this bit. It isn't this bit. It's actually this bit.
Yes.
And knowing your body.
Yeah.
Nice.
But once you've integrated that, because I would just then get them to use the power grip like this and beat, you know, do it like this. But I also use the other side of the body as well, because we have two sides of our brain, and we're only, you know, really engaging one side by using the one that we're most comfortable with. So I always work with the other side as well to develop that. And so I'd get them to do this, and then we'd go back to this, and you find that over time this quietens down. And even for myself, by doing this, I found that I was becoming even more powerful doing this. My wrist relaxed, and I realized there was still tension because I was actually stopping my arm from moving and creating tension. Whereas when I didn't, it stopped to its own accord, wanting to move, the whole action became something that was free and easy.
I think there's more to this writing
than
just getting your thoughts down on a piece of paper.
Yes. Yeah.
Physiologically, obviously not physiology because I can't say it, but it's the whole process of your body. I can't speak. I know that we've got some courses out here, and I think you've got an offer for our little watchers out there. So get your pencils out, ladies, and on a piece of paper. You have a 5-day writing retreat, and it's free, and it's a virtual event that people can all jump in on, and it's from the 14th to the 19th of June. And you do them regularly, so if people are watching this video and it's past the 19th of June, is that Father's Day? Always reminds me of Father's Day, the 19th of June or 21st.
Well, it's a Saturday, so it'd be the 20th.
There you go. It was around that time. I don't know why that always comes into my brain. But every other what?
Every 9 weeks, I will be running.
Okay, so
it's called the Move Method Writing Retreat.
Okay, so the Move Method Writing Retreat, and it's a free event.
It's a free event.
Starting that process to help people getting their books out there. I will ask you.
It actually helps them get their foundational framework of what they're writing in that moment. Wow. So they can focus on that. And so I also explain what the framework is. We work through that through the week, but I also explain what the Move method is, which is actually my methodology, which is about, you know, like as I was saying, the transition, the basic skills. There's also the limiting beliefs, there's completion, and, you know, a few other things.
I'm there with you. So my darlings, if you're watching it after the 14th,
the 19th,
every 9 weeks it starts.
Yeah.
I'll ask Caroline if you can send me a link to a website, a Facebook, or whatever it is where people need to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
in my Facebook group. I've got a group called Soul Flow, Get Your Book Written. So there will be details in there. I should be starting to market it next week.
Okay, perfect timing.
And it'll be up on Eventbrite, where they can actually register for it.
Okay.
And there will be, what I do is I create a pop-up Facebook group for that event.
Beautiful.
That's what I run it through. And then at the end of the week it's closed and I do another pop-up for the next one. But it gives them an idea of how I work, because this is what I found, is that most people think, but you were a maths teacher. And now you're teaching writing, so you must be an English teacher. And it's like, no. Nothing.
It gets confusing, doesn't it?
I know, because
that's darling.
the train of thought.
I do also know you've got lots of other things around. So I'm going to ask you to send me your links. And people, you're watching this amazing interview with Caroline. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Very intriguing, very interesting. And as we are watching you as female business owners, we do damn well know, if we didn't now, then we do now, that we need to get our book out of us, as it were. And there's lots of other stuff going on in your life that you can share information as well. So grab those over to me and I will pop them in our blurb on YouTube, so everybody can click into your groups and things if they're interested, obviously, in what you're offering. So ladies out there, this is the learning today. Make sure you're using paper and pen or pencil. Start thinking about
pen and paper.
There you go. Start looking and thinking about your book and where it is in your process. Step into this is amazing offer, 5 days of support to sort of start that foundation of writing that book. And whether you've started it, thought about it, haven't thought about it, give this a bloody go. Gosh, what an offer. And any questions, because there'll be a link there straight to Caroline, ask her. Go and talk to this lovely lady. As you know, neither of us are scary. We're just having a little chat. And if there's any information, we're talking about questions, ask us questions, whether it's ICA, we know we can help you with your business, or part of it is getting your book on paper. Blimmin' awesome. Thank you so much, Caroline, for joining us. Really appreciate your time today. And hopefully everybody will dive into your free event. I think it's an amazing event, and we'll pop it out on ICA specifically as well, and to give people the chance to get to know you.
Oh, that'd be lovely. And
how awesome is that?
So lovely chatting with you.
Oh, it's been great. Thank you. And if anybody out there, ICA Land is here for you, ICA TV. We can help you with your business. We can share your story, and in a very relaxed, chatty, comfortable way. And we even every now and then have a few pet visits. So today we've been quiet, so you never know who turns up, as we are all working still from home. So love to everybody. Have a great time, darlings, and I hope you're able to link in with Caroline and her events. And if you need us, give us a shout, and we will see you next time on ICA TV. So thanks, everyone. Bye, everyone. Bye.